I'm on my way home, and I got to talk about this. This is just so, you know how in the business that I'm in, you hear everybody's issues, right? So I got to talk about this individual. I realize like people hold on to certain things because they don't forgive. And sometimes it is better for you to be by yourself, by your freaking self, than to be in misery with someone you just don't love. I don't care if you are married to them. It's better to just be by yourself and be happy than to be in the same house, dysfunctional, hatred on Mount High, and you don't even listen to reason. So I had this guy today, and he was sitting up there talking about how he can't stand his baby mother. He been with her for he said he been with her for 14 years. And he said, a couple of years ago, he said, baby girl, I got something to tell you. This is exactly how he said it. Baby girl, I got something to tell you. I did something wrong. And the way he sound like somebody like really old school. But anyway, he said, baby girl, I got something to tell you. And you're not gonna like what I did something wrong. What did he do wrong? He cheated on her. After all of them years they've been together, he betrayed her and he cheated on her. Now he's basically saying he did this when he was 20 something. Now he's 30 something. And I'm just like, I mean, and then he's upset because his stuff is late, meaning that the house, the rent is late, and he blaming it on her because she not paying nothing. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, I'm an old school lady. She shouldn't have to pay a daggone thing. What's wrong with her not paying? I mean, I'm old school. If I'm going to be in a relationship, I ain't paying for that. No, I'll pay because that's how I am. But like for instance, when I was married, my husband, both of our money went towards the bills. It wasn't like, oh, he paid for everything and I just went shopping. We were providers and they want to pay. That was never an issue when I was married. And so I was listening to what he was saying, and he was like, how would you feel, talking about your husband? I'm just listening. I'm like, he has no idea that number one, he's complaining, saying like, well, you and your husband, y'all probably do everything. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, looks can be deceiving. You think, oh, my husband is there and he's paying for everything. I'm sitting up here listening to a grown man cry. Well, I'm like, I'm taking care of my bills. I'm making sure that that I pay my stuff. It's been times, and I have to be honest, it's been times I look at my bank account and it's on fumes because I paid all my bills. But guess what? The bills are paid for. It was times I had to get out here and really do some crazy stuff. Not anything like crazy, crazy, like some streetwalker, but I'm out here delivering groceries and stuff to make some side money so I can, pay a bill. And I'm listening to this grown man whine. So I'm sitting up here and I'm listening. And he's talking about how his baby mother, she goes to their child and says to the child that I think you love your dad more than you love me, and that's not fair. Now that's wrong. You should never use your child against. And one thing I've never talked bad about my husband to my daughter. I never said your father's a deadbeat and he ought to be hit by a bus. I never said that. Never will. I never will. And I remember years ago, somebody had to check me because I was talking smack while my daughter was in a car. And at that time, Symphony was only like maybe 3 months, 4 months. But the lady was right. Like, you can't be talking about the dad when the daughter, right? Come on now. She was right. She was right. But I am beyond forgiving. Like, I forgive everything that the man that I married put me through or did not do. I forgive him so much so that I have peace. Man, I was talking to this person, and this person didn't. He was all, "Oh, you taking her side, and oh, you not doing this. I'm taking her to court because she not paying her." And I'm like, why can't you just fit the bill and just forgive her and walk away? If she makes you that mad, why can't you just walk away? Why do people have to hold on and cause even more damage? If she gets on your nerves, that if he gets on your nerves so much and he makes you mad, why do you have to drag him through the ringer to the court? Why do you have to? It was like when I went to court. That was not because I wanted to go to court. No, my husband dragged me to court. Like, if you hated me so much, why couldn't you just walk away? You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking to myself, like, now I'm making sure I'm paying the bills and this, that, and the third. And I'm like thinking in my mind, you should. You're a grown man. You should. You should not pay because she not gonna pay. You got to look out for your credit and your well-being and your child and the roof over your head. Why would you not pay? I don't get it. Like, like I said, let me tell you something. When you get to a level when you just like, okay, it pays to be the boss when you can just when you can say, I got it. That's it. God is gonna bless you, just how you carry it. But if you real petty, like I said to myself, man, I ain't missing a daggone thing when it comes to these relationships out here. Because I'm like hearing this dude like whine. It was just like, oh. And I told him, like, you reliving the moment. You still reliving the time. Evidently, the woman that he's with called him all types of stuff and faggy in front of their daughter, and he said it was so disrespectful, which it was. Yes, but it's always two sides to the story. But God knows the whole truth. And I'm listening to this, and I'm just like, oh, I'm not dealing with none of them issues. You sitting up here whining about, you know she not paying she not paying this and she not doing this and I gotta do this, and I go, okay, well, get your own place. She won't leave. Okay, well, then you get your credit and everything together and you go and get your own place. Well, I think I still got to take her to court and do the see. You still want to have your hooks in her skin. Why can't you let her go and you go do you? Because it's called selfishness. It's called tit for tat. I gotta hurt you. I gotta do something so that I can try to destroy you. I'm like, she gonna hate you even more. I don't care. I don't care. So it's mainly like you. Do you get what I'm saying? If you forgiving somebody, you would be like, man, I'm not even messing with it. I don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I'll go ahead and I'll deal with it. I'll pay for it. I'm out. You close the door, you change the locks, you do whatever you got to do, you move and you start over. But that tit for tat in a relationship is unhealthy. And why be with a man who's sitting up here talking about a woman he been with for some years, for 14 years, and it's gotten so bad that not even counseling is going to help. They're not married, so I'm like, then move. What's holding you back? What's holding you back? See, some of y'all are so used to dysfunction. You're so used to abuse. You're so used to negativity. You're so used to arguing, and your words hurt. They hurt so much so that you don't even want to listen to reason. You don't even want to listen to bettering yourself and seeing blue skies, because you're so used to being in the rain. You're so used to dark skies. You're so used to somebody abusing you that you couldn't even fathom of having something better, because you're so used to being in the position that you're in, because you don't want to move. You don't want to move. The man makes you upset, and you still laying down in the same house with him, and you're not even married. That's what makes it even worse. That's what makes it even worse. So I don't know. I do know. I'm just like, I'm not messing a daggone. Like, y'all crazy as a son of a gun out here. You sitting here talking, you preaching to the choir, talking about you paying bills. And I'm thinking to myself, like, don't we all pay bills? But sometimes I don't even be having. I'm like, honey, it's a recession out here. Have you seen what's going on? And you complaining about it, like, oh, y'all females just the same. What you want me to say? The first thing you said to me, I don't even know you from a can of paint, but you telling me you done told this woman that you've been with for all of these years you cheated on her. So that was the first level of you telling me that's one main reason why she's upset with you is because you cheated on her. Okay. And you say, well, that wasn't, I was in my 20s and now I'm in my 30s. And I'm like, are y'all married? No. Okay. That's a big thing right there. Number one, y'all not married. And number two, like, I'm just listening to this stuff. And I was just like, okay, I'm just saying because, and he always just, some people like to always talk about their abuser or the person that they accuse of doing them wrong. Like, that's the only life you have, is to talk about what the person has done. Like, do you have anything else to do? Anything good to do? Stop staying with people that are not beneficial. They're a liability instead of an asset in your life. If you're going to depart on a good note, live in peace. You shouldn't be living like you in bondage and you not even bound to the daggone woman. And neither is she to you. See, some people like toxic relation. You can't even call it love. You can't even call it toxic love because love has no toxicity with it. You get what I'm saying? Love is just so like, it's a wonderful feeling. Love is just overwhelmingly with joy and just the best. Like, how could you even, I don't, like I said, some people like, they like that stuff. They like drama. They like that fighting and going back and forth and cursing each other out and in a rush to hurt somebody's feelings. When when it's all said and done, it's an underlying issue, and the issue is you just got to be truthful. You hurt me. You really hurt my feelings. That's why I'm in the mood, because you hurt my feelings there. Some of y'all put up y'all guard so much. You hoe, you this, excuse my mouth, you this, you ain't that. Y'all put up y'all guard so much. And the whole time it's because you really want the other person to say, I'm sorry and I love you and I was wrong. But see, some of y'all think your stuff don't stink, that even when you do get the apology, you still don't want it. You still don't want it. It's not good enough. You gotta torture this person. You gotta go through life just torturing the person. That's like the man who something happened with him and his wife, and evidently he didn't speak to his wife for 20 years. You gotta torture her. You get off with torturing somebody. You get off with the drama and calling people and getting people involved. Like, oh, I don't even know these folks, and I'm just like, I didn't need to hear about all of this, because I don't need to download that in my spirit, because I don't deal with dysfunction. And the crazy part about it is people look at me like I'm some alien when you find out I haven't even been in a relationship with my folks in over freaking 8 years. But then when I look at y'all, look what you got going on. Looking bad, talking bad. Y'all need to like let go, like ball and chain, like let it go. Because I'm trying to tell you, with that ball and chain, you're gonna jump off. You're gonna jump off the ship and you're gonna sink. You're gonna sink, and the whole time you didn't even know. The thing didn't even need a daggone key to let you go. You decided to sink like that. You decided to allow this person to disrupt you so much that you manifested into hatred. That's why I say you got to be very careful who you with. You got to be very careful who you with. And if the person is not for you, and if you fed up, let them go. Just cut the cord. Like, let them go. Let them go. Stop always trying to rule somebody and do this and do that. Like I said, some people like that dysfunction and stuff. And some people think it's cute. Yeah, girl, he choked me up. Y'all think it's cute. Just like that couple. I know you heard about that couple. Maybe you didn't. And they will always put on a video. They would go back and forth, and they would be fighting each other, put it on a video, and have all of these views. They thought it was cute. They thought bringing that rage and makeup and breakup. They thought that stuff was cute. And what happened? The girl decided I'm gonna scare him with a gun. So she shows up at the hotel room like open an effing door, and I don't know what she did. But I'm gonna try to tell you something. That gun went off and she ended up shooting the guy and he died. And she was in the courtroom crying in front of his sisters, explaining to them, I didn't mean it. You don't know what demons was just waiting for you to bring something out and make sure that that bullet was going to go right towards that dude, because we wrestle not against flesh or blood, principalities, evil in high positions. So all that hatred and stuff, you don't know, you have no idea what's behind it, making you curse each other out. Making it's like that couple, Krishan and Blue. Like I got my thoughts about that, but it's dysfunctional at its highest, and they try to glorify it like it's, oh, that's that thug love. Somebody gonna get hurt. We're not designed to take on hatred 24/7. We're not designed to always have drama. You get what I'm saying? Some of y'all be loving it. I don't get it. I was just like, okay, so why don't you just, you move out and get your own spot? We always, it's always an excuse. It's always an excuse. And like thinking to myself, you don't want to hear about any. You just want to vent about why you hate this woman or you don't like her. And it's even worse when she's not here to defend herself and you just talking about her like a dog. And if you can do that about your child's mother, like what does that say about you? You just basically say, I told her I cheated. No woman wants to find out their man cheated, period. You just told me you cheated on her. And ever since then, she's changed. What made you cheat? Why did you cheat? Now you got to pay for the consequences of it. Maybe you should have thought about it before you cheated. And if you don't want to deal with the bitterness of her, then pack your bags, man. Like, go. I don't know, something wrong with y'all. Something wrong with people. Something is wrong with people, honey. Something wrong with people. Y'all got issues. And he was like, it's just like you and your husband. Okay. It's like you and your husband. Because he asked, and I was like, yeah. He was like, yeah, like you and your husband, like he makes sure all the bills and he makes sure this, but then you working too to make sure. And I'm thinking to myself, like, and I had to tell him too. And he was talking about she don't do nothing and she don't do. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. None of the women I know, slouch around like that. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe, and this is what I said. I said maybe she thinking you old school, like when the old school guys pay for the bills. That made him so mad. Oh, you one of them females that do that. I was like, I'm just saying, maybe that's what she thinking. Like you boss man. You go ahead and handle the bills like it's nothing. Like there was times I roommated with my sister. Okay, my sister's like 2 years younger than me. We roommated in an entire house. You know how many times my sister came up? I mean, the house was in my name. You know how many times my sister would come up to me. This is back in the day, and when I was 20, I think 23 years old. Dog, I ain't gonna be a dog. I ain't got the rent this month. You know how many times I had to go ahead and fit the bill and didn't even, I'm like, for real, I just fit the bill. You know how many times I did that? You know how many times I go out and I'm like, I got it. I got the bill. It's nothing. You know how many times I went out and got the bill and did the tip and like it with nothing. Like, no, I got this. You can hold your money. I do it all the time. That is nothing. It's nothing. So to hear somebody complain about it, it's just like, hmm, like when you get to a level when even you and your friends like, no, 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 I got it. No, I got it. No, I got it. When you get to that level, I mean, it's like apples and oranges, honey. It's like apples and oranges. So I don't, I can't, you can't blame somebody for you not handling your business. You get what I'm saying? You can't blame somebody for you not doing what you need to do. You can't blame somebody for you not having happiness, because let me tell you something. One thing that the man that I married has taught me, and this is some real stuff, okay? He has taught me that if you don't want something, you can walk away from it and don't turn back. Whether, even though it was wrong, and even though I wanted him to stay, but if he didn't want it and he just says, forget it. In life, God has given us all choices. You have a choice to serve him or not. There's consequences with that. You have a choice to remain unmarried or married, be together, walk away. You have a choice. You make that choice. There are consequences, though. You have a choice whether or not. There's sometimes I'll be looking at stuff and I'm like, I'm not looking at that. You know why I'm not going to look at it? Because it's not going to dictate my emotions. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to invite this in my world because it's not going to dictate my emotions. They building that house. That house going to be big. But I'm going to tell you, when it snow, they better shuffle them steps, because somebody going to be like, like goofy. But anyway, but y'all get what I'm saying, right? You got, bro, no, like I said, if I got problems, and relationship is not one of them at all. I've really learned, like, you can pick and choose what you want to deal with, and some of y'all choose to be to act as if you're in bondage, and you're really not in bondage. It is literally on you. Nobody's stopping you from opening up the cage and walking away. Nobody. And some of you are choosing not to forgive. Like, there's so many reasons to forgive, but you are choosing not to. Man, how did all these cars get over here so quickly? You're choosing to say, I'm not this person. They hurt my feelings. And then you go over reliving the moment over and over and over and over again. This is the day I knew that I have forgiven my husband. Is because when the enemy try to bring up, yeah, remember how he just walked in? I'm like, I don't want to hear that no more. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I forgive it. I don't care. I do not care. I don't want to relive that moment. It's done. It's gone. It's gone. Like, I don't care. It's water under the bridge. It's the water's dried up, gone down the river somewhere and became other. It's gone. I don't want to relive that. But some people, they got to keep going back and bringing up your past and all of this other type of stuff. And the enemy would do that. The enemy would use them to do that. Remember when you did this to me? Remember when you said that to me? The enemy would do it. But you can't allow somebody to be your ball and chain, and they're not. You can't. And the only reason why I do things because my daughter, and I'm just thinking, oh, poor baby, she's just going through a whole bunch of dysfunction right now. Dysfunction. And some people, they don't understand too, is when you keep dwelling on something over and over and over again, bitterness sets in you, and you literally start to manifest it. You literally start to look like it. You know what I mean? Bitterness just, You look bitter, man. You ain't taking care of yourself. You stressed. You're dealing with the dramas of today, of the same old stuff that happened yesterday. So, I mean, people, the only thing I can say is, gosh, get over it. Do something. Stop whining. Especially grown men whining about she was supposed to pay her bills. And I said, well, maybe she thinking you old school, because you know old school guys, old school cats, they pay the bills. Bills ain't an issue. They make sure the money right there and be like, go ahead and pay the bill. Like it's nothing. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe, back in the day when I was in the dating scene, the jokers I used to mess with, like, they paid the bill. It was nothing. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing to give $100 tip. They paid the bill was not even a dag on it. Was nothing. Like when I hear grown men crying about paying, it's just if you should have downsized and had your own spot. You should have downsized and had your own spot. And then you assume like, oh, you got it, you marry your husband, and I know you both of you and your husband, y'all working it out. You assume that. But I'm looking at y'all stuff, and I'm like, y'all a hot daggone mess. I wake up every day with peace. And I'm like, y'all going through drama. And where it stems from it's because of unforgiveness. It's unforgiveness. Bitterness is hard. It is. You got the people thinking like, I'm ready to ruin you. I'm ready to just rip you down. I'm ready to just, some people get so bitter. They hate the other person so much. And they blame everything on the other person. That's why God tells us to forgive. Because if you don't forgive, man, that thing can get out of control. It can really get out of control. You don't trust nobody. You hate everybody. You thinking all men are the same and they not. You thinking all women are the same and they not. Just because of what somebody did to you. That's why we have to forgive. You gotta forgive to let that bitterness spirit leave you alone. You got to. And I'm cruising and a bruising here. I'm making good headway. Meaning, I'm not too far from home. I really found out how to really take the back roads. I'm doing pretty good today. Yeah, that bitterness, like people, man, people literally conform into some ugliness. You can conform to something beautiful or some ugliness. I know some folks that literally, because of who they used to be with, they've changed. They used to be so fun. They used to be just so, everything about them was just a glow and just a joy to be around. But ever since they messed with somebody, they just became so bitter. They allowed somebody to change them. And when they did, they weren't fun to be around with anymore, because they were always arguing and always getting in. It's always drama. I never want to be like that. That's why I catch myself cracking up laughing. Like, I never want to be like that. You can't make your husband or your wife or your girlfriend or your fiance or your family members. You cannot make, oh crap, am I going around? You can't make them a god. You get what I'm saying? You cannot make them your god. I think I'm going the wrong way. And some people do. They hold them accountable for everything, for their shortcomings. If it wasn't for what you did, I would have never did this. You know what I mean? You gotta stop it. Woman never even met this woman, but the first thing he tells me was, I told baby girl, look, baby girl, I did something wrong and I need to talk to you. I'm like, what did you do wrong? I'm thinking in my mind, he said, I told her I cheated on her. I said, "Ooh." I mean, what type of respect was that? What type of love? Well, what type of love was that for you to tell her that you cheated? And see, another thing too, the Bible warns about a man who finds out that you've been messing with his wife. The anger of a man when he finds out you touched his woman. Some men don't forgive that. Some men find it so hard to forgive, but yet when you go out and cheat on, your woman, you want her to just forgive. That car could have waited until I made a right. So yes, it is a respect thing. But again, like I said, I don't know what they're doing out here, but the men that I know or that I knew of, they fit the bill. That was just their standard. There are certain men that are providers and they don't mind spending it. It's nothing to them. And there are those who like to complain, and to me, there's a difference between a king and a peasant, the difference between a boss and a worker. It's you know what I mean? It's a difference. What is that right there? It's a big difference. And there's no excuse for it because if you are a provider, if you're one of those type of folks that just be like, it ain't nothing to me. It's no big deal. It's not even something to brag about. It's your second expecting you to forgive, so like I said, and you definitely don't need to just be venting to me because you know why you've been venting to everybody. You said you've spoken to her father, her mother, her sister. I'm like, you're just going around just whining about the same old stuff. That's why some of y'all, that's why folks don't get ahead in life. And you want to know why they don't get ahead in life? Because they keep going down the same old tunnel of what happened to them and what somebody did to you years ago. Years ago. And then I don't know why everybody got this syndrome like all women and all men are the same. They're not. They are not. I have seen, even though I'm out of the dating scene, I've seen different men out here. I've seen men that are really good providers for their family and really put their friend. There's a coworker, and you know what he always says? I'm waiting for my lady. He calls his wife my lady. I'm waiting for my lady to show up. I'm like, he always honors her. And and I like that and I really respect that because he honors his lady, his wife, when she's not there. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I was some bitter woman because of what my husband did, because of how he put me away, I could be like, oh man, it's the same. They all cheat, you know. Women shouldn't do. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But that's not true. It's not. You know, just because you got a bad batch of peanuts, don't mean that everybody out here is, nuts. You know what I mean? Just because she did you wrong don't mean that this woman is like her. And I'm going to tell you another thing too, how humans are. Humans, we mimic things that were taught to us. That's why you see people and they're so calm, or they're very happy because they were raised in a happy, joyful upbringing, and then you have those who were brought up into just straight craziness. And sometimes they don't They bring it onto themselves because that's what you have around you. That's what you've been on. You always been around drama, or you sit around with the same old people talking about the same old drama. Anyway, there are women to piggyback off of off of what you said. Yes, bitterness is horrible, and it women will let you pay the bills, but women were also they were also respectful way back then too. It's a two-way thing. There's a lot of women that's still respectful now, and there's a lot of men that really feel like there's a lot of men that are were providers, and they're still providers today. They still know how to provide, and it's not a thing. It's only the ones that make excuses that really get me, because you've been on that one side of the fence and you don't even think about going on the other side of the fence. Most men want to be providers and they want to be respected. Most women want to respect their husbands or their significant other. They just want to be loved. You know what I mean? So it's just, if you don't love your wife and you constantly calling her this and putting her down, and like it used to hurt me when my husband wasn't happy with me. I really wanted him to love me and be proud of me. Like I wanted him to be proud of me because of the things that I did for him. I wanted that, and that's why I was trying